Do you want to watch a super gory revenge samurai movie where they fight grotesque immortal monsters all while struggling for political power, but in reality that's just the surface of it because, in truth, it's a story about love? Well, this anime has you covered on all of those fronts. Ninja Scroll is a 1993 anime movie that is severely underrated. I came across this anime last night when searching for horror anime to watch, and my choices boiled down to Rin, Daughters of Nemosin, or this one, Ninja Scroll. I of course ended up choosing Ninja Scroll, but the reasoning behind it was because it's a movie. It's only about an hour and a half long, it's not a significant time sink, and when it's already 2 in the morning, that's all that matters. This video will obviously contain spoilers for this movie. I'll try to keep it to a minimum, but it's inevitable that there will be some. But before I go any further, please like and subscribe. I'm almost at 100 subs. Actually, by the time I post this video, we may have already hit 100 subs, so I'll say thank you in advance. But anyway, let's get into this video. The movie begins with our main character, Jubei, a sword for hire, being harassed by some thugs who stole a rare katana. They're mad at him because he helped the village get their sword back for only 20 pieces of gold when it's worth well over 300. Of course, Jubei swiftly handles them. We then cut over to a small village where everything is fine and dandy until this girl from the Shimoda village comes walking on in, looking like she has Ebola, and says everyone in my village has died from an epidemic. With this, the village decides to send out a ninja force to scout out the Shimoda village, the Koga Ninja Force. Also joining them in this expedition is the daimyo's poison tester, Kagero. Eventually, they reach the outskirts of the village, only to find that everyone had already been slain. With that, the carnage begins. This fella, who seems to be made out of stone, starts turning the Koga ninjas into red paste until it's just 2 left, Kagero and Hanza, their leader. Hanza sacrifices himself, legit getting torn limb from limb so Kagero can escape. However, this proves to be in vain, as the stone man quickly catches up to her and brings her into a nearby shack where he begins to assault her. Luckily, our lost Ronin Jubei is also in there, I assume taking a nap, wakes up and asks the stone man for some directions. Obviously, Mr. Stone Diddy isn't too keen on giving them out, so they clash where Jubei and Kagero eventually break free from the onslaught and escape. Here, they part ways, she gives him the directions he needed, and she's off to report the incident. During his journey, he's jumped once again by Stone Diddy, but this time he came out on top. However, it wasn't just due to his own strength. Stone Diddy was decaying, and out of nowhere, an aura farming old man says to Jubei, "Wow, young man, you're strong. I could use you in a fight against the others." He explains that he is the spy for the Tokugawa shogun, and that there are 7 other monsters aside from Stone Diddy, known as the 8 Devils of Kamon. He also says the reason that Stone Diddy was decaying was because Kagero had poisoned him. She has the ability, or in reality a curse, but this time it worked out for her, but any man she sleeps with dies. With this, Jubei still declines his offer, but he ends up encountering another member of the 8 Devils of Kamon, but this time she escapes. And the old guy, Dakuan, poisons Jubei and says if he works with him, he'll give him the antidote and 100 pieces of gold. Seeing no other options, Jubei joins forces with him. If we cut to Kagero, she finishes giving the report to the daimyo, and he orders her to go out and figure out what the devils are planning. Here, she encounters Jubei fighting another member, but this time she saves him. With this, she joins the crew, so Kagero, Jubei, and Dakuan are out to kill the 8 Devils of Kamon. So that's the basic idea of the plot. I left out some information, so in case you haven't watched it already, there is still tons to look forward to. But before I get into what I actually like or dislike about this anime, I gotta say something first. If you couldn't already tell, this anime is extremely violent. Blood and gore out of the ass. It's straight up like a video that little weird kid in middle school would show you during lunch. Like, hey guys, look at this video! And it ends up just being Funky Town. It's also very sexual. Of course, I can't show any of that, but there is tons of nudity, tons of talk about sex, tons of full-on sex, and a scene of sexual assault. Not to mention, one of the main plot points is Kagero's sexual poison. I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. But what I'm getting at is that this anime is definitely not one that you should watch in your living room. With that, let's actually talk about it now. One of the things that I really liked about this anime is that it's very consistent. From the beginning to the end, the pacing never felt off. It knew when to slow down, it knew when to pick up, which is very good to see, or very cool to see, in an anime movie where oftentimes the pacing is just all over the place. And in turn, it caused it to actually have a very coherent storyline. Like, it had a good beginning, it had a good end, it had a good middle. It all wrapped up perfectly. But my favorite part about this movie was Jubei and Kagero's relationship. See, Jubei was the first person to not look at her as just an expendable ninja or to just blindly fear her for her curse. So their romance was a very nice addition to the story. And in a way, it really is what the story's about. It's about them developing together. I will say, spoiler of course, the antidote for the poison is actually Kagero. And so basically, Jubei and Kagero are a perfect match for each other. But what makes it even cooler is when Jubei found out about this, Kagero was like willing to just, get down and dirty, if you know what I mean. But he still refused that because he didn't want to just use her for her body. But I do have one complaint about this movie, and unfortunately, it has to do with the 8 Devils of Kamon. They get practically zero development and or backstory throughout the whole thing. I mean, even some of them, especially one I'm thinking off the top of my head right now, legit appears for like 2 minutes, and then he gets defeated and is never mentioned again. I hate that. And the only motivation that any of them seem to have, aside from their leader, Genma, is to sleep with Genma. I'm not even kidding. I will say, Genma at least has a motivation, and he's a pretty decent character, and there's a certain event that takes place towards the end of the movie. I'm not going to say what it is, but it really makes you hate him. And when an anime or any TV show can make you hate the villain, like you want to see them go down, it means they did a good job with them. But aside from him, they sucked as a whole. Overall, though, good movie. If you haven't watched it yet, I would recommend you do. Just make sure you're watching it in your room with your door closed. Again, please make sure to like and subscribe. I also made a Discord server. Link is in the description if you want to join that. Right now, it's pretty bare bones, just me and some other guy in there. But anyway, I don't got anything else, anymore else to add to this video, so I'm gonna end it here. All right, see y'all.